remember what we call this shape? What is this? And you can look at the handouts that I have. I didn't take those down. What does this shape remind you of? Who says, okay, can we agree it's not a circle? Can we start with that? Anybody here think it's a circle? Okay, that's good. So now we got one out the way. So because it's not a circle, that means I'm not looking at this formula or this formula, because both of these are with circles. So we got, is it a trapezoid, a parallelogram, or a kite? For it to be a parallelogram, these two sides have to be the same. So when you're looking at this, are these two sides the same? No, so it's not a parallelogram. Does it look like a kite? So this is a trapezoid. So this is the formula we're going to use. So the height is always associated with the right angle. So this will be your height. And then this is B1 and B2. You're not using that 5. So the area, in your calculator, go ahead and type in 1/2 times 4, and then 5 plus 8. So take a minute and see what you get. I think it's 26, but I'm not using a calculator. Did anyone else get 26? Okay. So that would be your answer. Any questions about how we did number 1? All right, let's look at number 2. So number 2 is a kite. This is your formula for kite. So I'm going to go ahead and write this formula out next to it. So it says that the kite has an area of 108 square inches. So this is your area. One of the cross pieces is 18 inches. So that means you have a diagonal that is 18. And they want us to find the second diagonal. So area is 108. That equals 1/2 times 18. And we need to figure out what diagonal 2 would be. So we're going to start by figuring out what is 1/2 of 18. So use your calculator, figure out what's 1/2 of 18. That would be your first step. So I heard Alan say 9. Anybody else agree that it's 9? Okay. So that would be 9 times diagonal 2. Now these two are being multiplied. And what's the opposite of multiplication? Division. Good. So you're going to divide both sides by 9. So in your calculator, take 108 divided by 9. I think you get 12. 9 goes into 10. 1. Yeah. Who got 12 for diagonal 2? And that would be your answer. 12 equals diagonal 2. All right. So now that we have that, now let's go to our pink packet. So this unit, we did the first half of chapter 6 before spring break. Now we're going to finish and do the second half. Okay. So we're going to talk a lot about surface area and lateral area. But before we get into that, I want to review a few of these questions with you. So I want to look at, I'm not going to do them all. Let's go ahead and look at question C. And if you need to, you can go ahead and fill in what are these formulas. I believe this is at the top of your page. So this is for a parallelogram. I know it's a long word to fit in a skinny box. This formula is for a trapezoid. This is for a kite. This is a circle. And this is a slice of the pizza. So if you don't want to know the whole pizza, if you only want to know a slice, I'm going to put slice, a piece of the circle. That's what a sector is. A sector is a piece of the circle. Let me go ahead and fix that because that's a little messy. So sometimes we only want to know a piece of the circle, not the whole circle, just a piece of the circle. So we have a circle. In order to find the area of a circle, you have to know the radius. So does this represent the radius or the diameter? It kind of helped you because it said R. So in your calculator, you're going to take area of a circle, because this is a circle. It's going to equal pi times R squared. So go ahead, type that in your calculator. Hit the button above enter to get it as a decimal. So if you type it in correctly, you should get 1385.4 centimeters squared. Anyone need help with their calculator? You remember how to get the decimal? There is, the notes are in the front. The pink and yellow packet are in the front of the classroom. And we're in the pink packet. We're on page 1 now. All right, for the second one, question D, what's the shape? What kind of shape is that? Is it another circle? So what would you say? Which formula should we use? Raise your hand if you think it's a parallelogram. Who think it's a trapezoid? All right, good. So it's a trapezoid. So we know that I'm going to write trapezoid. The height, this is the height. This is B1. This is B2. So area equals 1/2 times the height, and then 14 plus 11. Go ahead, type that in your calculators. And see what you get. There's packets in the front, the pink packet and the yellow packet, and now we're in the notes. So go ahead, pick up both of those packets. So who got 75? Anybody get 75? All right, so it'll be 75 and it's inches squared. All right, I'm actually going to go back and do question B. So when I'm looking at question B, first of all, what's the shape? Kite. So area of a kite is 1/2 diagonal 1 times diagonal 2. This is your diagonal 1 right here. These two numbers added together is diagonal 1. So diagonal 1 is 6 plus 6. which would be 12. And then diagonal 2 is 8 plus 14. Which is 22. So now find your area. Area equals 1/2 12 times 22. And you get, what did you get? 132. Who got 132? Okay, good. All right, last one on this page is number 2. Let's go ahead and look at number 2, and then we'll get into our new material. For question number 2, it says, Louise has a pizza. So again, cut into 8 equal slices, one being 45 degrees. The radius is 9. So this is a slice. So this is the formula we're going to use for a slice. We need to know the angle, and we need to know the radius. So the angle of our slice is 45 degrees. And the radius of the pizza is 9. So A equals 45 over 360 times pi r squared. Go ahead, type that in. Joanna, can you close the door for me, please? Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Who got 31.8 inches squared? Okay, so this unit, now we're going to get ready and start the new material. That was just a quick review of what we did before spring break. So now let's get into our new material. So let's go ahead and go to page 2. The first thing we need to identify are the 2 different types of area. So 6.4 is all about surface area. So take a minute and copy these 2 definitions down at the top of page 2. Because this is really, really important. When we talk about lateral area, that's the amount it takes to cover the outside. So think about wrapping paper on a present. So if I wanted to cover a box, everything except the top and bottom, that's the lateral area. But if I want to cover the entire box, that is surface area. So go ahead and copy down these 2 definitions in your note packet. And today we're going to talk about a prism, and I'm going to give you the formula for a cylinder. So it's 2 different formulas. Lateral area, again, make sure you write that it does not include the top or bottom. So if you kind of think about if you buy a can of soup, the label goes around the can, but they don't put a label on the top and bottom of the can. So that's an example of lateral area. When you wrap a present, though, you normally cover the entire box. That's surface area. So it's important that you can tell the difference between those 2. So if it is a prism is where the base has some type of pointed side. It doesn't have to be a triangular base. It could be a square base, a rectangle, or a triangle, or a trapezoid. It could be any type of base except a circle. And then the height. Okay, so formula for lateral area. First, let's go ahead and define a couple variables. So first we have a capital P. Can you write that represents the perimeter of the base? Because I'm going to use these letters a lot. And then we have a capital B. That's the area of the base. And we have H, which is the height. So I'll give you a minute to copy that down. You will be provided the formulas. So if I'm trying to find the lateral area, I would just take capital P times H. But if I'm trying to find the surface area, I would take capital P times H. And then I also have to add 2 times capital B. Anybody need more time to copy this down? All right, now let's talk about a cylinder. Oh, no, let's do example 1. So I skipped that. So let's go to at the bottom. So we have, first we're going to find the lateral area. So if I'm trying to find the lateral area, I need to know P, capital P, which is the perimeter of the base. So does everyone see how this is the base at the bottom? Base means bottom. Perimeter would go around the entire rectangle. So the base of this has a base that is a rectangle. And it's a 12 and a 3. Does anybody remember how to find perimeter? How do you find perimeter? Add up all the sides. So that means that this side would also be 12. And this side would also be 3. So to find the perimeter, you're going to add 12 plus 12 plus 3 plus 3. So go ahead, pick up your calculator, add that together to get the perimeter of the base. And what did you all get? 30. Who got 30? All right. And then next you need to take the height. How tall is this box? 8 feet. So the height is 8. So that means that the lateral area, going back to our formula, if you want to find lateral area, it's just perimeter times the height. So that would be 30 times 8, which is 240 feet squared. All right, now let's find the surface area. To find the surface area, the formula says perimeter times the base plus 2 times the area of the base. And I didn't mean to say perimeter times the base, sorry. It's not perimeter times the base. It's perimeter times the height plus 2 times the area of the base. So again, we already know that the perimeter we said was 30. The height of that same box was 8. But what's the area of the base? So looking at this rectangle, because this rectangle was on the bottom, to find a perimeter, I would add up all 4 sides. But how do you find the area? How do you find area of a rectangle? Multiply the 2 sides. Yep. So multiply 3 times 12. So when you take 3 times 12, you get 36. So let's put it all together. Surface area equals 30 times 8 plus 2 times 36. Go ahead and type that in your calculators. Now, unless I did this wrong before break, I got 312 feet squared. Who got that? All right. Any questions about that? All right, let's fill in our formula for a cylinder. So a cylinder has a base that is a circle. Does everyone see how that? We have a base that's a circle. Okay, so to find for a cylinder, which is kind of like a can, we have to know 2 things. We have to know R, which is the radius, and we need to know H, which is the height. So remember, lateral area would be if I want to go around the can. If I want to go around the can, it would just be 2 times pi times R times H. Almost done for today. Surface area, we use our lateral area, but then you have to add on to that 2 times the area of the base, which is pi r squared. So go ahead and copy down that formula, and then we're going to skip to page 3 and do that cylinder, and then we'll end there for today. We'll come back to the one above it tomorrow. Okay, so again, if I'm trying to find surface area, first we're just plugging it in. So it'll be 2 times pi times, oh, sorry, let me do lateral area first. This is lateral area. So let's do that one first. That means everything except top and bottom. So it would just be L equals 2 pi, and then what's the radius? So this is tricky. Does everyone see this red line that they gave us? Is that the radius or is that the diameter? That's the diameter. Does everyone see how it goes from edge to edge? So to find the radius, you have to take the diameter divided by 2. So radius equals 10 divided by 2, which is 5. That is what you're going to use in our formula. You're going to use the 5, not the 10. All right, so go ahead and type this in your calculator. So you have 2 times pi times your radius, which is 5. And then how tall is the cylinder? Does everyone see this side here? That's how tall it is. Even though it's laying on the side, the can is laying on the side, that's still the height. So the height is 9. So type that in your calculator and get your answer for lateral area. All right, and then surface area, We're going to you're using your same lateral area. We're just adding on to that. So we have 2 pi 5 times the height, which we said is 9. And then we're adding on to that 2 times pi. And what's the radius? What did we say our radius was? Radius is 5 squared. Go ahead and type that in your calculator. All right, who got 439.8? Okay. So I'm going to pass out your first homework here in a second. I'll leave that up for a minute. I didn't mean to talk this long because I know it's the first day back. Tomorrow we're going to continue with surface area and lateral area. I am going to pass out your first homework assignment. It is due on it's due Friday.